Hello, leaders. I'm on my way to do the Nelson HR report. Let's get started. Hello, leaders. Welcome to my 10th Nelson HR report. I plan to come on every month to discuss current HR hot topics with you and to keep you informed. So let's start by talking about OSHA. OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and they've issued a new rule which will actually reduce our workload as well as save us money. It reduces the cost for us as employers. It revises 14 provisions, and those provisions are in the record keeping area, the general industry area, maritime and construction industry. And some of these provisions were confusing and outdated and just plain unnecessary. So, according to OSHA, the revisions are expected to increase our understanding in their compliance as well as improve the employee safety and health. And it's also due to save employers $6.1 million per year. So, the revisions are expected to go into effect on July the 15th. And some of the provisions include hearing loss, cancer screening, chest x-rays, collections of social security numbers, and more. So you want to really make sure as employers you are carefully reviewing the final rule, and you want to make sure you determine which ones affect you and your business so you can be alerted to what to do to protect yourself. And also you want to make sure your safety team members are aware of the changes. Now, if you want more information about this OSHA's new final rule and everything, I'm going to have the website right here on the video for you so you can go right to that website and read more about that final rule. Next, let's talk about the EEOC. The EEOC recently released detailed breakdown of the charges they received in 2018 regarding workplace discrimination. They also released that they had resolved 90,558 cases in 2018, charges of discrimination, and overall secured $505 million for these different case charges of discrimination. So the data shows that, guess what is number one again, the number one charge that the EEOC has for 2018. I'm sure you know the number one most frequently filed charge is, again, retaliation. And in fact, it even went up a little bit. It is like 51% of the charges is retaliation. The agency also received 7,609 sexual harassment charges, which is a 13.6% increase from 2017. So, and they obtained $56.6 million in monetary benefits for these victims of sexual harassment. So we're still having problems in that area. So I'm going to read you some of the data here. The retaliation, there was 39,469 charges, and which is 51.6%, as I said before. Sex was number 2, and there was 24,655 cases, which is 32.3%. And disability was number 3, and race was number 4. So those are the 4 top charges. And you want to make sure that you're very aware of that, because you don't want that in your workplace. You want to make sure you're providing the proper training for that to protect yourself. So I'm going to also give you 5 steps to avoid retaliation, because it keeps being a problem. People keep getting sued for this. So I want to make sure that we're aware of how to handle, to protect our work, to be proactive, protect our workplace, and make sure that we're not having retaliation happening. And so number 1 would be monitor your workplace. For instance, if you receive a complaint about a manager, make sure that you monitor the interaction between the manager and that employee. In some instances, you may need to move that employee to a different, to work under a different manager until you get the case resolved or however it turns out to be. Number 2, make sure you have a retaliation policy. You want to make sure you're communicating that retaliation policy to your employees. You want to make sure you enforce your retaliation policy, no matter who it is. Even if it's the second senior person, if there's a retaliation issue, you want to deal with that. You want to act on that. You don't want to let that go because that's a senior person. Number 3, act on all complaints and investigate appropriately. Every complaint is not going to require a formal big investigation, but you can conduct small investigations, to check into the complaint. Even if it's a chronic complainer, you want to act on complaints. Number 4, train your managers on the importance of not retaliating against employees. If you notice you have a manager that gave everybody a day off but one person, the person that filed a complaint, you have a problem. So you want to make sure you deal with that. And number 5, we have to watch ourselves and document our actions to make sure that what we're doing is not retaliatory, or the employee might feel it is and say, well, this is what happened. You want to have your own documentation, and you want to say, no, this is what I did, this is what I said, this is how this happened. Okay? So be aware. Next, let's talk about the IRS. The IRS has designed a brand new W-4 form, and they released this draft because they want comments from the public. So you can go onto their website to see the new draft and give them your thoughts. And I'll have the website right here in this video. However, we're supposed to use the current W-4 for 2019, and the new form is not going to go into effect until next year. So the new form is going to reflect the changes from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which went into effect in 2018, and it eliminated personal exemptions. So they had to make some changes to that form. So you want to make sure that you go over and take a look at it and send in your comments if you have any. Now we're at the tip of the month. So the tip of the month this month deals with job analysis and job descriptions. I remember a year or so ago, I had a client call me, and we'll call him Pete. And Pete said that he was a new senior HR representative of this organization. And when he got there, he realized that the job descriptions were over 20 years old, and the employees were basically had created their own jobs and were basically doing totally different jobs in their job descriptions. He said that every time he went to delegate something, he would get challenged on it. Oh, no, this is not my job. I don't do that. So he wanted me to come in and do a job analysis and to do all new, fresh job descriptions, ADA compliant. And his place was out of control. And I have a lot of people that I've worked with. I can't even think of maybe 5 out of thousands of people I've worked with that have current job descriptions. So you want to take a look at your job descriptions, get them up to date, get them ADA compliant, make sure your employees have them in hand, and you can even have them sign off that they have them. And you may say, why? Why do I need to update the job description? Why does it matter? We told them what to do, and employees should know their jobs by now. They should know what to do. Well, if you're in court and you say, I told them what to do, and they say, you never told them, guess what? It's going to appear that you never told them. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons you need an updated ADA compliant job description. Number 1, to establish expectations. If the job description doesn't exist, employees may rely on their own understandings, and they may do duties they shouldn't be doing, and they may eliminate duties that they don't want to do or just not do them. Number 2, for FMLA, ADA, workers' comp, it's good to have job descriptions because for FMLA, for example, which is Family and Medical Leave Act, for FMLA, it's a good idea to send a job description along with the certification paperwork because the doctor can actually see what this person does, and if they have to make any type of restrictions, for instance, or whatever, for whatever reason, they'll know this person's job and won't rely on their thoughts of what the job may be. The same with ADA, which is Americans with Disabilities Act. If a person has to have accommodations and a doctor is advising you on the type of accommodations, the job description will assist him with that, because he'll know what the duties are and what the expectations are. And the same with workers' comp. Also, to present, if you ever find yourself in court or mediation and even unemployment, it can help protect you in court, and you show that you've established employee expectations. And number 4, to analyze the workplace. You want to make sure that all the jobs flow. And the job description can help you with job flow. And just like Pete, I just told you about, part of his job analysis, we were able to see the workflow needed to be adjusted based just from doing the job descriptions and the job analysis. And then number 5, it facilitates performance evaluations and goals. So when you evaluate the person, we'll know what the expectations are from the job description in order to evaluate people and establish their goals. Well, that concludes our July Nelson HR report. Thank you for watching, and remember to love yourself, enjoy your family, and be safe. And don't forget to do your HR audits. Well, thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you next month.
Learn how to protect your organization and improve your bottom line. Get your copy of Vanessa's book, 101 Costly HR Mistakes and How to Fix Them. Her book is packed full of real-life experiences and available to you now at Amazon.com or NelsonHRReport.com.